installing this hub adapter for installing a aftermarket steering wheel, and this little ring, it's pretty clever. You know, they made it so it can spin pretty much infinitely, and you know, it goes to the original controls on the steering wheel for the cruise control and the horn. And they did that pretty cleverly by using resistors to, you know, feed multiple voltages across basically 3 wires. One of the wires is the horn button. I did confirm. So in order to adapt this to this type of configuration, it makes life a little more challenging to use like a cheap aftermarket hub adapter like I ordered on Amazon. The hub adapter came with this on it, as well as this little boot here. It's like a cheap $20 hub adapter, and it's you know, it's aluminum, so you know, I don't think I'm gonna have too much of an issue. But what I found is that I had to pull this off and get rid of it completely, because it's not used in this configuration, because there's no you know, little pogo pin for the horn contact on this configuration. This does have a little opening on it. I went to put it on and I found that it didn't go in far enough. I'm like, okay, what do I got to do? So I looked at the back side, and the reason why was because, you know, this is kind of like a hub-centric kind of configuration where, you know, the further in you drive it, the more it bites, you know, because the collar gets wider. So I found a bit here at the shop. It's not the right bit, but it's what I had, and I pretty much just you know, drilled it with a drill press. It's aluminum, it's pretty soft, so it went pretty well. I'm trying to figure out what the dimensions of this are, you know, is just to help others out that are trying to do it. I tried to use a unibit first, and that just didn't quite work. It was starting to kind of get into the splines on here. I didn't really want to booger those up. So I found this. I don't know what size it is. It's pretty large, but as you can see, it did exactly what I needed it to do. And you know, put a little kind of a cone at the end of it, so it should pretty much grab just like the factory configuration did. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to mount this pretty much straight up and down, and I'm going to grab the connector off from here, and I'm going to plug it into here, and then I'm going to make this so that as this rotates, it actually rotates this with it. So these little buttons right here that are on here, there's 3 of them. They're meant to kind of help rotate this whole ring around. That's what originally grabbed onto the back of the steering wheel when you push the factory steering wheel on, and essentially that's what makes this whole ring rotate. So in any case, what I'm going to do is put this guy on. As you can see, it goes all the way into like the factory one did, and then I'm going to make it so that as this rotates, it rotates this collar with it. And then I'll put the nut in and hook up the single horn wire, which is one of these 3. I have to ohm it out again to figure out which one it was, and I'll just connect it to the horn, and bada bing, bada boom, it should be all done. I'll try to show you when I'm all done and come back to you. All right, so this is the hub adapter, and I had to grab a ground off it, so I just found a screw that would work. I cut the screw down so it doesn't poke out this side. Just grabbing a ground on the back side here, and I think it's the easiest way to do it on this hub adapter. So basically what I figured out is that we just want to be pretty much as close to top straight up and down as we can be. That looks about right. For that, I'm going to mount that there. I'll start to put the nut in right now. And everything else is really just factory. We ended up putting everything, the cover and everything, all back together like factory. So we have really not modified anything Before I screw this on, I guess I'll show you again, now that we have some better lighting. Again, I did kind of hone out this hub in the back. This is, again, the cheapest hub I could find on Amazon that, you know, has the, you know, it's aluminum, so it should be good enough for what we need to do for the girls we date. So, put this on there. Okay, we're just going to torque it on there. Good and tight. Now I'm going to swivel this guy down here, and I'll cover the next thing that we've done. So this is from the factory Mark III steering wheel. I ended up cutting these 2 wires, one to the cruise control keypad. There's another wire that goes to the center of the old steering wheel horn button, and it's blue. And so again, one of these wires was the horn, I found out. So I'm going to pretty much just try to route it through here, and hopefully it'll fit. Maybe I should have done this before I put the hub on, but I'm actually getting it to snap in. So that's snapped in right now. So that should be good. Okay, one thing I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna put a little epoxy on the back side, or do something here to make this ring travel with these little notches right here, to make that travel with this guy right here. So it doesn't put too much strain on these wires. But for right now, I'm just going to share, you know, how the steering wheel will look. So the next thing we want to do is put this guy on. And this one's a little bit of a challenge because it likes to be put on like perfectly unison. It's almost like a belt cog. It's kind of weird. But if you go too much in one direction, it's a real bear to get it right. I know I'm not probably making much sense, but if you slip too much on one side, it's really tough to get it to pull back. So anyways, but that's pretty much what it's going to look like. Now you can kind of do a side profile, and it actually covers really nicely. So that should go pretty well. And now pretty much going to have to work this out with hooking up the horn button. Be a little bit of a challenge, but essentially there's a little snap ring in this Momo steering wheel. You've got a ground, and then you've got the horn button pretty much. So we'll hook up our ground that we have right here to the ground, hook up the horn button, of course, and then I'll pretty much put the wheel on, you know, bolt by bolt. So anyways, that's it for now. And all right, so what we ended up doing was putting some zip ties on the back side of this, kind of lined up with these little tabs here. There's 3 tabs, and that's what kind of went into the back of the factory stereo. And those tabs kind of help with this rotating mat, with this rotating part right here with the 3 conductors in it. Instead of having all the stress be on the wires underneath here, I made it so that the zip tie would essentially, again, just capture these, and as you rotate this, it would rotate the zip ties and this collar. I've tested it, and you can kind of see, go a little bit closer on the side here. You can kind of see that as I rotate this, it actually does rotate it does rotate this as well. So we should be good. I'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, it's kind of cobbed together, but I think it'll be okay. I got my wires all set for the horn. I'm not really too impressed with how Momo has this. We'll see how it works out. I can't imagine this staying straight with a wheel, but we'll see how it works out. It kind of fits a little tight in the hub, so it might work out okay. We'll see. But I'll try to report back to you after I've driven this for a little while. We'll see how it holds up.